Yeah, of course. So this goes back to 2016. Um, I worked for a company at the time. This is before Round Room. That we came in as an original investor in the first version of Jurassic World, and that was produced by a company called Imagine Exhibitions. It was a guy named Tom Zoller, and I knew Tom quite well, and we put some money into the show, and was sort of a silent behind the scenes producer with Tom. And I remember going to Melbourne for the opening. This is the first Jurassic Park, Jurassic World exhibition, and it was March 2016. And I remember walking in and realizing that this was an unbelievable show, right? This exhibition brought Jurassic World to life, and I was blown away. And the show ultimately did over 400,000 people. It was a phenomenal launch and opening, and that was obviously before it came to Philadelphia and Chicago, and toured the world. And the exhibition franchise was purchased by a producer, a group out of Singapore named City Neon and Victory Hill Exhibitions. The well-established, well-financed company, great team, top to bottom, and they knew exactly what they're doing. And they started to produce multiple units of the show. And at the same time they were building these units, I had found Round Room, and we were establishing ourselves as a serious contender, right? A serious contender in the family entertainment space. Kids theatrical, exhibitions, experiences, those sectors. And they came to Round Room and said, we'd love to partner with you. We'd like you to be the North American promoter, and bring the show to life on a North American tour. We had a really experienced museum and exhibitions team. Guys like Mikey Smith and David Parr and Luke Stefan, guys who have been in the business forever and ever. We had this really strong relationship with NBC Universal as well. And so they were looking for someone who understood all the elements of how to put a large-scale exhibition out, including this exhibition, which we had experience on, and that was to run all production and operations and marketing. And we were the right team, and it's been a great partnership so far. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of benefits to the museum partnership, right? You said you saw it at the Franklin Institute in Philly. You have this built-in membership platform. You have the added marketing support. You have this financial security from a risk perspective, and they have the infrastructure and the staffing and all of that. And it makes a lot of sense to go into one of those great institutions. But this show keeps on getting bigger and bigger and better, right? And as I said, City Neon has done a phenomenal job at producing this sort of one-of-a-kind experience. But when you start adding in more scenic and more dinosaurs, and the size and the scope start to increase, it becomes hard to find museums with that type of space, right? But on the same sort of side of creating this sort of as you described it, a self-contained experience, we love the idea of creating our own world, right? Exclusive to the show. Patrons feel the magic from the moment they arrive, right? And that's what we're doing in Dallas, and we're super excited about it. Yeah, I mean, it's just what we sort of talked about, right? It's the size and the scope of these projects, right? You are moving 30 trucks filled with scenic and sets and dinosaurs. And, in the case of Dallas, we're building a 20,000 square foot venue, right? So the logistics, the coordination, the orchestration of all of these things, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of resources, to ensure that you are creating and building the most magnificent live experience that you can build. And then once that's all built, there's obviously the challenge of getting the word out, right, and marketing the show and getting people to buy tickets and wanting, knowing about it. We're fortunate with a brand like Jurassic World that telling people about it is almost enough. There's a Jurassic World exhibition, I got to see it, is sort of their typical response. You're not really teaching them about too much. Obviously, they need to know that it's a walk through immersive experience. But the biggest challenge is just the sheer size of it all. It's a big show. Yeah, and we're going to be in the States for a while. So Dallas was just the first market. Oh, I mean that's a great question. I listen. It's the customer journey, right? Like it's bringing the storytelling elements to life, right? The idea of you just mentioned it a few minutes ago, sort of getting into the catamaran or the ferry and taking a trip to Isla Nublar, but walking through the world famous Jurassic World gates, to me, when the iconic John Williams score plays, I think it has this sort of profound effect on the guests. They're immediately transported to Jurassic World, and all these scenic elements, like it's so detailed, and it's so incredibly well done, and these scenic elements create this unbelievable anticipation. So when the gates open and they see the Brock, right, in the treehouse, for the first time, that magic we all felt in Jurassic Park 1, right? Right. That magic is recaptured here in this experience, in this exhibition so well. And it's recaptured in the flesh. It's recaptured live in person. And it's not on a screen. It's not in a theater. It's up close and personal. And then there's these dinosaurs. I mean, it's so phenomenal, this show, on what it can make you feel and how it can make you feel. The combination of being up close and personal with the dinosaurs, mixed with things like those scenic elements, those elements from the films, the gates, the Jeep, the score. It is magical, right? It does make you feel like you are there and in person, and it's something really special. Yeah, so obviously, in addition to everything that you probably saw in Philadelphia, the experiencing the world inspired by this sort of beloved film franchise. Um, what we've done is we've built sort of these exhibition guests are able to pose for these one of a kind Instagrammable photo moments, right? Which are it's really well done, and we've sort of put in the incredible baby dinosaurs, including Bumpy from the hit Netflix series. Obviously, Camp Cretaceous, and other new elements would be fans would have the opportunity to sort of play Jurassic World Alive, the popular location-based AR mobile game, and unlock exclusive exhibition-only incubators. So there's a few elements, and we'll continue to adapt and innovate and add new elements. As you said, it feels like there's something new in every stop you go to. The goal is to keep on improving, but the show obviously has some great new pieces that we're really excited about. Yeah, I mean, I did see it a few other times. I saw it in Melbourne, and then I saw it at the Field, but in Chicago. But the new one that I just sort of referenced is these photo moments, right? And I know that there was previous sort of photo ops, but we've taken it to the next level, right? We understand how important photos and sharing photos are, right? So we developed a photo taking technology. It allows visitors to have carefully curated photos of them, their friends, their family, while inside Jurassic World. So when you arrive, you will receive a QR code, and it will trigger a series of carefully directed photo moments throughout the exhibition, right? It's free. It's immediately sent to your email. And as I said, there's sort of a wonderful way to sort of capture those moments, those incredible moments, but have the ability, because we know how important it is to have content to share on social media platforms, right? So yeah, we're excited about that, and that's something that I was really pushing for, and for the integration of that, and it looks like it's going to happen for Dallas. So I'm really pleased about that. The behind the scenes really depends on when you go, right? And meaning, like, obviously you just said it, the installation, the tent build, the tech rehearsals, like that is a busy time. The show doesn't open for another 35 days or so, 5 weeks, and we have a huge crew already on the ground. Right, that's how busy, that's how long it takes. it's a lot of people working together to build this one of a kind experience, right? Now, during the operation of the show, everything's built, it's a little tamer. But behind the scenes, you'd expect the same, the high technology running the show, a central control room that produced sort of the magic, and a ton of power being pushed into that tent and structure. Okay, well, the gates. Okay, I can't get over it. I know I said this earlier, but how iconic are the gates? Like, how iconic is the John Williams score? Like, it hits me in no other way, in a way that no other film score does. And the anticipation is an all-time high. And then you see the Brock, right? And the music is sweeping, me into this world, and like, yes, that is my favorite. That, because you just, it's also the best because you're just walking into the show, right? And you're going to get to see all of this amazing stuff behind those gates, and so that's my favorite sort of area, as you said, of the attraction. Dinosaur. I mean, the Brock is special, right? As I just sort of mentioned that, that's one of my favorite dinos in history. I do tend to like the herbivores, but in the exhibition, I guess I'd go with the raptors and the raptor training facility. Because you can literally get within inches of the raptors, and they look and feel so real, and their eyes will move at you, and you could lock eyes with them, and it's almost truly hard. It's very hard to believe that they are not real, when you're staring them in the eye. So that would be my favorite dinosaur in the exhibition. Yeah, the T-Rex is literally huge. It's, and it all comes down to the setting and the environment and sort of triggering JP1 and, entering Paddock 9, and you see that sort of long concrete barrier, the electrified fence, right? The 10,000 volt sign, the sounds of the thunderstorm in and around you can be heard in the distance, and then the boom, boom, and I think when you mix lightning with the silhouettes of the silhouette of the T-Rex moving in, I mean, how incredible is that, right? I don't want to say too much more, but I'm guessing that people know. I mean, you probably understand. You've seen it, but there is a feeding. The power may go out on the high voltage fence, but yeah, no, it's such an iconic scene. The recreation of it is done so well, and it's powerful. It's really powerful. Listen, the exhibition immersion, right? Interactivity, it's everywhere, right? That's what makes a lot of shows, and this show, specifically, so special, right? And this is what makes it truly one of a kind. Like, you are on the catamaran, where you are now immersed in the story, all the way to the sort of the Gentle Giants petting zoo, where you're encouraged to touch dino dung, right? And then you go to the Hammond Creation Center, right, where you're encouraged to sort of take part in this sort of scientific thinking and behind Jurassic World, right? So fossil station and DNA stations and the control room security console, where, that's a really cool one. Guests are allowed to sort of view live security footage of the park by touching the hotspots on the main screen, park map. So, I think that interactivity is so important for children and students. It encourages so much more than entertainment. And the entertainment factor is, the best, right? But adding that educational layer, that educational approach, it just becomes a more dynamic offering. And that's something that this show has done the show and the franchise, the media franchise, the exhibition, the experience, all of it have done so well. Is this amazing sort of amalgamation of like pop culture and history and education and it's phenomenal. And then the exhibition does it so well. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no question that this has been a devastating year, right, for so many industries, and including the live entertainment space, right? And our company, Round Room, we've been so fortunate to be able to weather the storm, but it's listen, it's been so challenging for so many people, and for us, the original plan was to open Jurassic World in the fall of 2020. And we obviously had to push that back, and so we pushed it back approximately 10 months. But we're grateful, right, for that time off, right, from constantly having, you're sort of constantly putting out shows and shows and shows, and a complete stop gives you the opportunity, the chance to really sort of take time to reflect on the projects you have, the shows you have, and thinking outside the box, to create and perfect the content and the promotion and the rollout and the on sales and the announcements and the operations. And so, I think that extra time gave us the confidence that we were going to build and launch an even better slate of productions that will be unprecedented, right, in the level of entertainment that they offer. Well, first things first, we can guarantee that the show is going to be worth it. It's so fun, it's magical, but there's all the safety precautions, right? And so while it will be an incredible experience, it will also be the safest experience possible. And it's something that we take really, really seriously, extremely seriously. And you can sort of count on Round Room because our team and we are professionals, and we've taken every protective measure. So what we do want families to know is that they can be totally confident that when they come and see Jurassic World The Exhibition, that safety is that utmost priority, and that the only thing they have to worry about is having a great time, right? We've got a fully cashless experience. All guests and staff are required to wear masks. So we have implemented social distancing pulses. We have clear venue signage to help assist in attendees. We've got everything from the cleaning and sanitization, and all public spaces are going to be cleaned during the operating hours. At limited capacities, pulsed entries, as I said, and we've got this. We've implemented a sort of a state-of-the-art industrial HVAC system that will increase airflow and ventilation inside the venue. So, we are doing everything we can to ensure that this is an experience that is the safest experience it can be. Well, I mean, I think you have. Listen, when you have Universal Parks and Resorts, and you have NBC Universal, and these are this is one of the biggest companies in the world, and they are obviously very smart in how they roll out their activations and timing, and there's many learnings that are shared between the producers, the creators, the design teams, coordinated and orchestrated by the studio for better experiences across the board. So I think you can expect nothing less from someone like NBC Universal. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I've said this a few times already, but Jurassic World The Exhibition is, in my mind, the most magical and incredible experience I've ever seen, right? Best show I've ever seen. And you take this sort of one of the most beloved film franchises, 5 billion in sales through 5 films and video games and comic books and apps, and the sort of power of this media franchise is so significant, and through that we've created the Jurassic World The Exhibition, and it's phenomenal, and we're bringing it to Dallas, and we're opening at Grandscapes, and it opens on June 18th, and something we've been building and preparing for a long time. And our partners at City Neon have been rolling these things out for years, and we are all really excited to open the show. The show will be open for 7 days a week. We're opening every day at noon, June 18th through September 5th, and tickets are available at JurassicWorldExhibition.com. Get your tickets now. We've seen huge ramp up in terms of sales, and I urge all fans to buy tickets as soon as possible before we are out.